Hi everyone and welcome to Campus Channel. I'm here with Grenoble Ecole de Management, GEM, and we're going to be talking about their Master in Management in International Businesses, the MIB, the MIB. Here with us today in order to talk and to answer all your questions, we have Céline Faust, the Program Director. We're very pleased to welcome you, Céline. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very well, thank you.
And we have a former student, Shivangi Gupta, an alumni, and she's now working in a very famous company called LVMH. How are you, Shivangi?
I'm really good, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for coming. They're both here to answer your questions, but first we're going to start with the pitch. All right, Céline, it's going to be your turn to start. And
okay.
You're going to have 1 minute to tell us what we need to know about your masters. We're listening to you, Céline. It's your turn.
The MSc MIB program from Grenoble Ecole de Management is a 2-year master's degree. It's a generalist master and a pre-experienced master's that is qualified by the 3 main rankings, the Financial Times, the QS, and the Economist. Aggregated out, we are in the top 25 percentiles of best MIM programs worldwide. We're also within the 1% of schools that have the 3 accreditations. Those are international recognition of Grenoble Ecole de Management, the programs, and the degrees it delivers. The program is a very international, student-wise, and also teachers and staff on all campuses, as we have the MSc MIB in Grenoble, in Paris, in Singapore, and in Berlin. The content and the structure of the program facilitates high employment by sector, activity, and function. And that is thanks to the fact that we align the curriculum towards the need of the employment market so that our graduates can work in any function, any industry worldwide, such as consulting, marketing, finance, and operations.
All right, we've made it. It was, let's say it was a minute. All right, let's not go into details. The first question is I want to start with a question that we had from an internet. And she was telling us, if I have really relevant work experience, but not very good grade, can I still apply to your master's?
Well, it's a pre-experienced master's degree, so it depends on what she has as professional experience. If it's above 2 years, usually it's a cutoff at 2 years. Now, not very good grades, what does that mean? We need to have a minimum of 60% GPA to get onto the program, so that's a minimum.
All right, do you have any others? So grade is one thing you're looking at. Are there on a variable that you're looking at on the students before when you look at the applications?
Yes, absolutely. We look at the admissions criteria are numerous. Firstly, they need to have a good bachelor's degree, of course, a GPA above 60. They need to have a fluent, or they need to be fluent in English, meaning they need to have more than 6.5 in IELTS or 240 in the TOEFL, 94 or 94. As well, on the admissions criteria, they need to write a motivation letter, as well as a letter that explains a little bit if they already had the experience within a different culture, such as had a culture shock, and also explain to us why they want to choose the MSc MIB and what that will help in their professional lives in the future.
All right, thank you. Shivangi, can you tell us what kind of students you were? What is your academic background? What did you do before joining this MSc?
So before joining GEM, I was doing a bachelor's in commerce from Delhi University in India, and I have a very financial background. After that, I did an apprenticeship in a consulting firm in India. And based on that, after that, I thought I wanted some international experience. I wanted to go global. And my degree is also global. It's ACCA. So I wanted a general degree so that I already have a master's, I have a specialization in finance. And I wanted a general degree so that I can reach the top positions. So that is why I chose GEM. I would say I chose this master's degree because it is very general. You learn a lot of different courses. You learn a different ways of working with different people. So this is why I chose this course, I would say.
Okay, thank you, Shivangi. Céline, you mentioned all the things you're looking at through the admission process. What do you look at the most? On what should a student focus so that he emphasizes at the maximum his chances of getting accepted?
We look at all we look at all different types of profile. The fact that the students have very different backgrounds. But what is most important is that they understood what they have applied to, that it is a generalist master's degree, that they will be confronted or be living for a year in a classroom with students from different cultures, different backgrounds, and also different knowledge and skill set, so that they are open to go outside of their comfort zone and also, of course, being in a different country if that's the case. They need to be open-minded. They need to want to work in teams with students or with their peers from different cultures and backgrounds. So an international need or want is one of the most important aspects of the admissions. But of course, having the level in the bachelor's degree as well, and being fluent in English, that is also very important.
Okay. I would like to make sure I quite understand everything about this MSc. Is it a 1-year program or a 2 years program? And will I get a 4 years degree or a 5 years degree at the end of your master's, Céline?
So the program is a 2 years master's degree. The first year the students are on campus, so they have a tough year with all the modules taught. And the second year our students go and do an internship or they find a job while they are writing their final management project. So depending on if they find an internship, the thesis that they need to write is linked to the internship. Otherwise they need to do an academic piece of work. So the second year is really dedicated to the thesis that they will work together with a tutor from GEM and a tutor within their company.
Okay, and during this last year, so there's like the first year when you're at GEM, like physically speaking, I mean, and then the second year, it's more like you're at the same time in a company and writing your thesis. So I just want to make sure.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So either on campus, they can be in Grenoble, in Paris, in Berlin, or in Singapore. Shivangi was in Paris. And after that, they can go anywhere they want to in the world to find a job or an internship while writing their thesis.
All right. And Shivangi, what were your thesis about?
It was about my company, Coty. I was doing my internship at Coty. So it was about the sustainable development of the perfumes that they do at Coty, linked to a little bit of finance because my specialization was finance. So I created a topic related asking my manager and my tutor, and we came up to a topic called the sustainable development of Coty and the market share development, the market value, how it is impacted by the sustainable development that's happening around.
All right, so it seems that even if it's something very general, like you become a specialist nonetheless. I was wondering, Céline, on your website, it's written that under under what condition would I need to participate in an interview? Because it feels like it wasn't quite clear, and I would like to know when will I have to get an interview and won't I need to get an interview?
Okay, well, that's really, so the process is you apply online, you do your file with all the documents, etc. That goes through the admissions team, then pass it on to me. I look at the file, I validate it, and if there is a profile that doesn't really fit in, I usually do an interview with that person, or I might do an interview, for example, with someone who already has a master's degree in any other subject, but for example, Shivangi, that then wants to do another master's degree as a generalist degree. So just to make sure that the students that apply, or the applicants that apply, that they will be happy on the program. So not just an interview for coming onto the program, but also an information session to the applicants. We also do interviews because we have students from the PGE program at Grenoble Ecole de Management on the program, and that's also an automatic interview process with these students.
All right, Shivangi, did you have to go through an interview, or did you get arrested straight away? Because
No, I just got selected straight away. I was lucky.
Oh, well, you're not lucky. It's just you were fitting the profile. Yes, tell us, Céline.
Yes, she was an excellent profile.
Yeah, I guess that's why there's no luck about it. It's not about being lucky. And you mentioned as well 3 different essays that we're going to need to write, from my understanding. And how many words are required for the 3 short essays in the admission process, Céline?
It's about a paragraph. I would think that's around 400 words, 400 to 500 words.
Yes.
You did them
400 to 500 words. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, could you tell us what you said in those essays, Shivangi, so that like the future students watching could actually know how to become an excellent student as well?
So there are 3 essays. One is about why you want to join a GEM. Why did you choose GEM? So I told about why I wanted to join GEM because it's an international degree course. It's in Paris, and I wanted to come to Paris, an international country. So this was main gist of one of my essays. And the second was, how would I fit in? Why is my profile suitable for the program? So I told that I come from a financial background. I already have a specialization, but I want a general management course, so that to reach the top positions in any company, you need to know how to do general management. This was the gist of the second one, I would say. And for the third, it was about the cultural shock. And as I come from India, I have worked with a lot of diverse people, not only from the north, but from the south of India. And within India, as it's so big, there's so much diversification, so many cultures, that I already have experienced a lot of cultural shocks there, and also while traveling to other countries. That is what I wrote in my third essay.
All right, thank you. Now I understand why you got accepted straight away. It was perfect. So that we make sure like we go through the whole admission process and that student really understand how to apply. I have 2 last questions. The first one would be for you, Céline. You asked for a CV, and I was wondering if you provide any kind of templates, and if you ask for a CV in English, in French, is it a French CV or an English CV? Because they're different kind of template and a way of doing it.
No, we ask for a CV in English, and the template, that's something they need to find. So they're all very different. It's also a way for us to see what level they are in the development on their own employability profile. Of course, that is something that we again do workshop on through their year at GEM. They get the ability or the possibility to improve their employability profile by adapting their CV, interview techniques, etc. But for the admissions criteria, they do their own CV, and everything, yes, needs to be in English. It's an English program taught in English, even if it's in France or in Germany or in Singapore.
And apart from, I mean, the advice you just gave us, which is a CV in English, if you had to tell a student one thing that he really shouldn't do on his CV, what would it be?
What he really shouldn't do in his CV, what he really shouldn't do, well,
lying maybe.
Anything. Oh, absolutely. Lying or bluffing is not something we would appreciate. No, it's just the same as I say in my negotiation classes, that do not negotiate yourself through lying and bluffing, because it will always fall back on you and be negative. But no, they're newly graduated bachelor students, so they're still very young and they are still in the learning curve. So we don't go into details. If the CV isn't perfect, then they will start the master, and we will give them the chance to improve those documents, such as the CV or the motivation letter.
All right. So the last question now that that everybody is going to apply, the last question is, you said that the admission is on a first come, first served basis. So how many students have you already accepted, and how many students will you still accept?
So we have in Grenoble 2 groups of approximately 40 students. So the program is a very small cohort of 35 to 40 students in each group. Same, one group in Paris. We have one group in Berlin and one group in Singapore. So approximately, let's say 200, 250 students on all campuses together per year.
All right, thank you very much for answering all my questions so far. We're going to take our first break and see what lies behind the cliches of any business school. It's time for Cliché. All All right, Celine, Shivangi, we're going to talk about preconception, about cliché, about ideas that you might have had before applying to this MSc or after that you've applied to this MSc. I'm going to start with you, Shivangi. What is the first cliché you had before applying to GEM?
The first cliche I had was about the business school, that once you get into a nice business school, your internship is ready there. You don't have to work anymore. Everything would be perfect and you won't have to work as much as you did in your bachelor's or during your specializations. But it was a completely myth, because before coming to GEM, we already had a lot of learning to do. And before starting any of the courses, we have to pre-read some courses, some articles, because to be at the top of the class, you have to be prepared before.
All right, so everything is going to be perfect, but you're still going to have to work. And
Yeah.
so you said you had work before entering GEM. What do you mean by you had work before entering GEM?
I did an apprenticeship in India. So an apprenticeship is just a study plus the work. So it was just work plus study, and I didn't work a lot, but I worked for 2 years in a consulting firm, and I had a little bit of idea how to work with different people, about the numbers, how to use Excel. But after coming to GEM, I learned a lot of different other tools. I learned how to work with a lot of different people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different countries, which was really a really good learning curve for me, I would say, which has already helped me in my current role at LVMH.
All right, I thought you said that GEM had sent you work as soon as you got like accepted, and I was really wondering what kind of work it would have been. Celine, what is your cliche?
The cliche could perhaps be that at business schools we teach students what to think. Well, on the program we don't do that. We prepare our students on how to think. The world is as we see in the middle, as we see today, is changing extremely quickly. And even while our students are studying, the knowledge they acquire can be quickly redundant. So therefore, we focus on more giving our students the critical and the flexible thinking skills that, of course, creates adaptable international managers able to manage change and, of course, able also to embrace change. So it's more about how to think and not what to think.
All right, and how do you make sure that your courses meets the challenges of tomorrow? How do you make that happen?
Well, by putting students in real-time situations, through scenarios, through cases, through the numerous group work that they need to do and work together as a team. 30% of the assessment on the program is through group work. And as we say in the beginning of the year, the first day of group work is just love. And then, of course, difficulties arrive, problems, because the students come from different backgrounds, different cultures, have different ways of working. But through the program, they learn how to work together, adapt, and become successful and deliver a successful project. So that's really a skill that needs to be developed, and I think it's also a skill that is highly used in the professional world, in the organizations.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Celine. Shivangi, what has been during your MSc the biggest challenges that you've met?
I would say the biggest challenge has been to work with different cultures, because you don't know how to work as I'm coming from Asia. The working culture in Asia is very different from the working culture in Europe. So you learn through the different group projects, through the different team projects, that how do you work with different people, how do you have to manage them, how do you have to be the team player, and also sometimes be the leader. So that was the biggest challenge, to learn through doing, I would say.
All right, and you were saying that the way of doing business is very different. Could you give us one example, for example, that you really noticed?
I would say in Asia we do a lot of hard work, and in Europe we do a lot of smart work, and which is what I learned. Which is what I learned after coming to Europe, that we have to do both of it, and both of part of hard work and part of smart work.
All right, so now you're a hard worker and a smart worker, so you have it all. Celine, you've partially answered the question, but I really want to make sure that we all understand how international this master is. And so my question is going to be, what is international about this master's? Will I be able to study abroad or in association with international companies?
Yes, absolutely. It's international by its modules. It's international by its students. The fact that in a group of 35 students, there can be up to 20 different nationalities. It's international by its faculty, knowing that more than 50% of GEM permanent faculty come from abroad or are not non-French. It also comes from of course, each and every module that is geared towards the international organization. So our students, they already come from all over the world, but at the end, when they graduate, they also go all around the world and work in any function, in any company, in any function or any in any industry worldwide, and they are able to work cross borders with each other and being effective in those tasks.
All right. You also mentioned different campuses. Is there like any advantages of studying in one place, or is it just like all the campuses are the same? Why do we have different campuses in this master's?
So what is important to say is that the program is exactly the same on all the campuses. The MSc MIB mostly teach also by the same teachers. For example, I teach, and I travel to all the campuses to teach my module there. Now, the experience in itself is different. The experience from a student perspective is different if you go to Grenoble, if you go to Paris, if you go to Berlin or Singapore. And that really depends on the student's wishes, what he wants to experience. Otherwise, the program in itself is exactly the same. For example, some modules in Singapore, some of the cases used in class might be geared more towards the ASEAN cultures than the French, for example. And that's also something, for example, on the program, you need to learn a language. So if you go to Singapore, you'll have the chance to learn Mandarin. If you go to Germany, you'll have the chance to learn German, and same in France.
All right, so Shivangi, have you learned French then?
I have learned a little French, I would say.
Okay, but you don't want to speak French today because you don't want to show off.
Je parle un peu français.
Yeah, that was perfect. And so you picked Paris as the campuses, is what you said? And I was wondering, did you have any relationship with students from other campuses?
Yes, I had a relationship with a lot of people from Grenoble because we had to go to Grenoble campus once or twice for some activities and for some associations. So I met a lot of people from the Grenoble campus. I was in contact with someone from Singapore as well, but not as much. But I would say since we all are doing the same courses, we somehow we are connected, and if any one of us needs any help, we are always there for each other.
Yeah, so it's like different campuses, but they're all connected. So it's very, I think it's a very like key point as well. We mentioned it a little bit, but what is the final management project, Céline?
The final management project is a thesis of 10,000 to 15,000 words. That's we like to say that the second year on the program, the thesis is really where the student have the possibility to specialize. And if he goes on the professional track, meaning that he links it to his internship, then he can work together with the company on this thesis. Otherwise, it's more an academic piece of work. And that needs to be handed in at the end of the second year, while working, of course, closely with his tutor.
All right. You mentioned personal and professional development workshops. Can you give us an example of personal and professional development workshops, and are they mandatory or not?
So we have a lot of extracurricular activities at GEM, if it's in Grenoble or in Paris. Sometimes we'll have it in Grenoble and students from Paris are coming, or vice versa. Now, these personal development workshops are not mandatory, but of course we really emphasize that student, because it's part of the process of becoming a master and becoming attractive to the employment market. So they need to develop their employability profile. And these workshops are organized for all the international programs and can be such as CV writing, motivational letter, LinkedIn profile. We also have different, or that's the careers that organizes, but it also helps you to understand what path do you want to take, different boot camps within consulting, within marketing, within finance, and of course different conferences such as in geopolitics. GEM is very known for its geopolitical conference, as well as other events organized. But the Career Center really follows up on each student. They can have individual meetings with the careers, and they can have group meetings with the different people in the career service.
Okay, Shivangi, I'm sure you can see my question coming. Did you take or did you follow any of those workshops?
I followed all of them, I would say, because I did from the beginning till the end, all of them. I took the one from the elevator pitch, for the CV building, for the interviews as well. It was a really interesting one that we had, that they were calling real people from the companies that were taking interviews for us, and they were helping us to understand what we are doing wrong in the interviews and how we can improve our interviews. So these were some of them, and I was part of the bootcamp finance and auditing as well, because I wanted to work in finance and auditing. That's why I went to Grenoble for the bootcamp. So I would say I've been through all of them, and they all were really knowledgeable for me, and they helped me increase my motivation, my experience, my confidence as well, because they not only give you a network, but they also tell you how to move forward, I would say.
All right, it seems that everything's perfect at GEM. Is there anything you didn't like about this program, Shivangi? Beware that Celine's watching you.
She's graduated.
Yeah, true.
The thing I didn't like about GEM was it was a lot of work. Like we didn't have any time during the courses. They were really strict, and they were we have to come at sometimes 8 in the morning and leave at 6 or 8 in the night, because we have to submit projects the next day. So it was a really tight schedule, but it was it helped me increase my agility and my way of working. I would say that you have to work under a lot of pressure sometimes, and you have to give good results even under pressure.
Well, I guess that excellence comes at a price, and it's a price of working, isn't it? The next question is, how have you adapted your courses to the current situation?
We have adapted like any other school. I have to say I'm very proud of being at Grenoble Ecole de Management. We finished the last semester online, and we gave ourselves 2 weeks to be ready for all the teachers, of course. And we were straight on to online teaching. The students also did the job. Accepted and finalized their master's degree with the modules online. So all exams, everything went online, and we managed to do that within 2 weeks. For this year, we also made the right decision by, instead of having 2 semesters, we cut the semester in cycles. So every second month, we could actually change the decisions based on the situation. And based on what the French government would let us do. So that's why we put into place the HiFlex situation, where we can actually teach in the classroom with screens and audio and cameras. That gives a sense of being in the class for our students that actually sitting at home. So we are ready. We are ready to continue online. We're ready to go back in the classroom. We're ready to go HiFlex, and we're ready to adapt to what the French government is asking of us.
Okay, thank you. It's going to be time for our second break. I believe that a picture speaks more than 1,000 words, and that's what we're going to discover with Who Am I? Okay, Who Am I is about telling us, who do you think suits the best your masters, who stands the best for your masters, and for that I'm going to introduce you to 3 different characters, 3 different people, and you will tell me which one according to you is the best to suit your master. Please don't pick the same one, otherwise it's not as funny as it could be, and I will probably let Shivangi start, Like you've been, like you didn't have the choice. You tell us that you had a lot of work, so now it's all about fun. Okay, so let's see the three people. All right, so the first one is the MIB, the Men in Black. I don't really name them, but it's just the Men in Black, and I'm sure you understood why I picked those ones. The second one is Angèle. She's a famous singer in France, in Belgium, and I want to believe she's an international singer now. And the last one is Angelina Jolie. Well, I could introduce you to her, but I'm sure you've known her pretty well. Shivangi, which one, according to you, is the MSc in Management in International Business?
I would choose the Men in Black.
Okay, let's go for it.
Because they look like the corporate guys. Because I feel I'm myself in a corporate company. I'm in the corporate division of the company, so I relate to them. So that's why I would say I choose the MIB, and I can relate to the course as well. So MIB and MIB.
Exactly. Thank you for that. You read my mind. Céline, which one would you pick?
Well, Angèle, I don't know very well. She's perhaps innovative, but I know more Angelina Jolie. I know she's very on top of what's happening in the world, very international, as well as an actress. And I would perhaps link her to the program, to Grenoble Ecole de Management. I don't know if she's in sustainability, but that's something that we are now getting very good at, as we're ranked the second best school in France within sustainability and corporate social relationship. So perhaps Angelina Jolie.
All right. Well, it's about commitments and engagements, and Grenoble Ecole de Management is very committed to different causes. And the first one is, I want to believe, education for all. And Angelina Jolie is a famous representative of UNESCO. We have gender equality as well. I know that Grenoble Ecole de Management is really fighting for that. And well, Angèle is as well. And the MIB was exactly what you said. But like, there was no wrong answers. And I think that Angelina Jolie is as international as Grenoble Ecole de Management. I have another question for you, Céline, is what's the most disruptive aspect of this master's?
The most disruptive aspect of the MIB is that we update our curriculum to meet the needs of the employment market regularly, so that we form or train managers that have the skills that the employment market needs. So, for example, this year we have a new module called Business Analytics Management, where our students will learn how to read and understand big data and BI, and to be able to use big data to make strategic decisions in the future. As well, a new module called Integrative Entrepreneurship and Consulting Project. You could think that entrepreneurs wouldn't be interested in doing a generalist master's degree, but actually all managers today, I think, needs to be or have the entrepreneurial spirit. So that's two innovative modules on the program that I would look at disruptive.
You take pride in the fact that this master's is very general, but is it possible to specialize in a particular sector during the MIB?
No, there's no possibilities of specializing through modules. It's really generalist, but we look at it as general managers. Meaning our students, when they graduate, they are able to work in any industry, like Shivangi, who is at Moët Hennessy in luxury goods. We have students going into oil and gas. We have students going into, and then different functions within different industries. So our students really, all the doors are open for them. So when they start, perhaps they don't really know what they want to do. And towards the end of the master's degree, they, with the help of the school and the different workshops and the modules, of course, they might have got a clearer idea on where they want to go. So our students can be in consulting, they can be in finance, they can be in marketing, they can be in operations, in any function within any organization.
All right, so I don't need to be specialized to work in a specialized environment. And maybe Shivangi, you could tell us more about that. Like, how was the master enough for you to work in the luxury industry? I mean, in the best company in the world when it comes to luxury.
So I would say that I learned a lot of different modules, and in all the different modules, I learned a little about marketing. I learned a little about negotiations. I learned a little about operations. So as I'm working in luxury and I'm in a corporate position, right now my position is a business analyst. I am in a very general position. I'm working with people from all the different backgrounds that are from marketing teams, from operations teams, from finance teams. So my current position is actually a really good uh, example that after doing MIB, you can get into a company that is a top company of luxury and work in a general analyst position and still have an idea about what you would like to do, because I know I want to do finance in the future. But right now, this opportunity came into my area, and then I took the opportunity to get this job.
And how has the alumni network helped you find the job, the position that you're having now? Because I mean, I guess that every student looking at this interview, willing to be working in the luxury industry, wants to be working for LVMH. So how has GEM helped you achieve, not that miracle, but like that really, like, yeah, that's
GEM
achievement.
helped me. GEM helped me in my first step in getting my internship, I would say, because there was the career center that helped me to get the internship. The company came to present about the position in the GEM Paris campus. And after the campus, there was a whole process. We had 1 or 2 interviews, and I was selected through the campus for the internship. And after that, my manager at Coty helped me, referred me for this position, I would say. And then things happened. Like, I would say GEM helped me in my first step. And then after that, it's the name of the school. And then it's all about your hard work as well.
Okay. And what should my level of French be? Like when I leave out of the school? I mean, you did not speak French and you came to Paris. Like, how complicated was it for you? Or not complicated, or how GEM made it easy for you, and what your level of French should be? Tell us.
I would say before coming to Paris, I had zero knowledge about French. I didn't take any courses. I had like a little 15 days courses in India. That's it. But after coming to Paris, we had regular classes every 2 to 3 weeks. And our teacher at GEM, she was really good. She used to take us to different places to explain the culture, not only the language, but also the culture, because France is not only about the language, it's connected to the culture as well. And after leaving GEM, I would say I was A 1.5 because I came at A0 and now I'm A 1.5-ish.
All right, that's impressive. Céline, you said that, I mean, Shivangi, you mentioned there was a lot of work. And Céline, I was wondering if you can still work part-time while having this master's. Like, can you work on the side and make money maybe to pay for the studies?
Then you have to manage your time very well. A part-time job, no, but I think you could get, I know students that are working over the weekends, for example, but you need to be, if you need to work, then you need to have it clear in your, that the master and the classes would be a priority, of course. It's just 1 year. Where you're in class, where you're studying. So, and there is a lot of work. There is a lot of individual work, but also group work, presentations. And of course, you want to also have a little student life outside. I would say it's difficult, but if you're good in time management, why not over the weekends?
Okay, Shivangi, you seem to be nodding while I was asking a question. Did you work as well part-time during your master?
No, I didn't, but some of my friends did, and they were working on the weekends, or they were managing their schedule really, really well, I would say, because they had to focus on the studies, and I know, and we were helping each other in the studies as well. So I would say, yes, they were working, but it was very difficult for them to manage. It was not an easy task.
Céline mentioned the student life, Shivangi. Can you describe us the student life? Could you give us 3 words in order to describe the student life at GEM?
I would say it's very international, very, very international is one word, international. The second would be fun because you learn the culture through the different student activities that are happening on the campus and off the campus. And also the city, Paris. You learn a lot about French culture, I would say, through Paris, through living in the most beautiful city in France, I would say.
Wow, well, thank you for that. Why not? Do you still have contact with your classmates? For how long have you been graduating now? How long has it been?
Actually, I graduated in July, but because
Right.
we left campuses 1.5 years ago, because we left campus in May 2019, I'm still in contact with all my classmates, my batchmates, a lot of them, because we still have a WhatsApp group. And I was the class representative, so also because of that, they are sometimes asking me some questions regarding the degree. But I meet them to know what is happening in their life, and I have a lot of close friends. I made a lot of close friends through the masters.
Yeah, so GEM is also like a friendship, a network of friendship.
Yeah.
Celine, how have you adapted? I mean, how has the school, how has the student life changed since the pandemic? Maybe it hasn't.
Well, of course it has in one way because we're all at home. We're all sitting a little bit on our own, teaching and learning on the computer. And I think the student life is difficult this month. But in the beginning of the year, we were able to welcome the students to campus, and we managed to organize. They organized between themselves to meet up in Grenoble or in Paris. And I have to say, I actually have, out of 40 students, I have 38 students that are in Paris now. They're not, of course, on campus this month, but hopefully we'll be able to go on to HiFlex from January. But yes, it is different this year, and it's different for all schools concerning student life and that side of the master. But I have to say, at the end of the year, they will, if they finalize, they will receive the degree, and then they were going to go on to something else. And they've also acquired, I suppose, new skills of how to learn online, how to work online with people from all over the world, adapt to the time zones, etc. So there are things, learning outcomes as well in this pandemic. And showing also our students that change is something we have to be able to adapt to.
Yeah, working on the ability to adapt to any kind of situation. Thank you, Celine. I believe it's time to wrap up any loose ends. It's time for extra time. We only have 2 minutes left to tell us everything that needs to be told about GEM. You're going to have maybe 1 minute each, in which you're going to tell us things that have already been said that you want to emphasize on, or things that hasn't been said already but you want to mention because there is no way someone is going to leave without knowing that. Shivangi, maybe you're going to start, and then Celine, I will let you close the show.
Okay. So I would say that this is a course that gives you not only an idea about the different courses. So as I'm coming from a specialization, it gave me an idea of the general management courses. And if you already you are not sure about your specialization, you know about all the specializations during the course. You'll meet a lot of people from different parts of the world. You make a lot of nice friends, and that will stay with you for life. And you learn about different cultures, you learn about the different courses. I really enjoyed all the different courses because you learn by doing, as Celine has already mentioned. And that's what I would say.
Thank you so much, Shivangi. Celine, what could you add?
That of course, you will learn the technical skills on the program, but yes, the goal does, I think, on the MSc MIB program is the international student experience. If you're in Grenoble, Paris, Singapore, or Berlin, and that's not just on the program, but it's also the life at GEM, at Grenoble Ecole de Management, and everything that GEM organizes as events. And specifically, what I want to emphasize on is the alumni. GEM this year or MIB, the MSc MIB, has its 25th birthday. So it was one of the first international programs at Grenoble Ecole de Management. And the network now is just becoming fabulous between graduates and actual students on campus. A couple of years ago, some of our students created a club called MIB +2 that is actually a file, information on where are they going, what are they doing after the taught part. And that information then is passed on to the next group, and then on and on and on. So now today they have access to a huge network, and not for specifically to get a job or an internship, but if they're interested in that same company, for example, what were the interview techniques, or what were the interviews like in that company? So they have the ability or possibility to contact each other. And again, of course, they are all around the world. So access to a big network club.
All right, thank you, Céline. Thank you, Shivangi, for answering all my questions and give us so much detail. I hope you have all the information you need now. If you don't hesitate to message Céline or ask maybe questions about Shivangi. They will both answer, I'm sure. I hope you had fun watching this interview, and I hope to see you soon on Campus Chanel.